Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Neville and welcome to Selective Imagery. Welcome to Birds at Huntington Beach State Park, August through January. It's been quite a while since I did a video with nature. I've done a lot of vintage camera discussions, but I thought long overdue. So I'd share some of what I've seen since the August time frame with you folks, and hopefully you enjoy it. Combination of videos, of course, and still image clips. Enjoy. Well, we start out with a quick video from August of some skimmers in action. Very interesting, and this is in slow motion, and they're still fast. If I had this full speed, your neck would be twisting back and forth so fast your head would fall off. But these suckers know how to move. Very persistent. They find an area, they'll stay in that. They could stay in that zone for 10 minutes or so. They'll move on. Other times they'll just go through in one direction and then go over the road into the marsh side. This is on the pond side right now. And as you can see, they're keeping pretty busy, and every once in a while, you look close enough, you can see that they got something. But they're not the only thing that's around. Bald eagle makes an appearance. Here it is, feet first, heading towards the water. It hits and comes up empty, but a later photograph catches him flying away with a fish. And of course, this is the time of year when we have the fish kill event going on, which attracts a lot of attention. This great egret looks nice around the flowers, as well as this one who's found a fish. This has a shrimp. Here's another bird flying in to look for some food, along with a tern. Because once you have a fish kill going on, fish are weakened or dead. Easy pickings, as they say, as this osprey grabs this fish. Here's some mullet, the few that remain, gasping for air at the surface of the water. And this great egret's taking off with a fish in its mouth. Here this tern has something in its mouth. It looks like a small fish. And no, this one definitely has a fish. This is actually two wood storks side by side, but with the bills it looks like one. Another tern comes in, grabs a fish. This osprey is looking square at me saying, "I know, I didn't get one." As this snowy gets upset by something, which doesn't take much. So here we're on the marsh side. This is in September, very early in September, with a group of, there's a few immature birds in here. There's still some snowy egrets. That one on the far left is really poking at something. I'm not sure what it's going for. don't know if there's oysters underneath there. I don't know why it would be trying to do that, but they're doing a lot of pecking. And you got the spoonbills. And then here's a still image of some skimmers with the flowers around. Try on a heron coming in, they'll land with its friends. An osprey has a fish. Looks like he's wearing a boot. Here he comes square at me with the fish in both talons. And one other shot. Another skimmer right on the edge, right on the very edge. And here you have an osprey hitting for a fish and another one in the background that has one. And the one that hit did get the fish, as you could see. And eventually flies around. I like this with the flowers in the background. Yellow-crowned night heron sitting on some rocks. And there's a shot for you. Skimmer coming right at you, and here's a pair of them coming right at you. And here's a quick video of a great egret working on a fish. Fish doesn't have any chance at all. You know, it takes a minute or two here. Probably not really 2 minutes, but before it takes it down. There it goes. All gone. And then here we have a cormorant taking a bath, and this is on the 1st of November. So getting a little cold now. But this cormorant will dive under the water, pop up, do some shaking, beat the wings a little bit. There you go. Don't often see them, you know, bathing themselves. They're usually too busy eating fish. This is actually I think one of the few times I've actually seen them do this. But wildlife is fun to watch. Every day it's different, you know, some days, you know, you have more success in your mind anyway than others, but you always see something that's different. Should be clean by now, you would think, huh? Here's a quick video, just suck it down. Great blue heron making an appearance briefly. Some white pelicans. This is in the middle of November. A group of white pelicans, and they're interesting. Many times they're in larger groups like this, and they're in sync. They're in sync with each other most of the time, with the heads going down and the heads coming up. And at some point, whether it be this video or another one down the road, you'll see that some of them do get fish, and you'll see their pouches moving. You'll see a fish moving around in their pouches. Every once in a while, though, you know, they may break up. Sometimes you'll have like a couple groups of 3, and if one of them got like a huge fish or whatever, sometimes it'll get harassed by the others. You can see the heads going up in the background there. And here's a wood stork. Now, a fish this size, the wood storks usually have a real hard time with them. I mean, we've seen them working on fish like this for 10 minutes or more because they kind of almost gum it to death. They usually can't get it positioned just so to get it down their throat. This one actually did a reasonably good job, but sometimes you see these birds fighting with a fish that's already been killed, but they just can't get it down the hatch. This one finally did. And here we have a shovelhead duck. A couple shots. And a female merganser. Bald eagle with the duck underneath its talons. And, well, an otter. Success. This is called a shrike in my backyard. My enemy, actually. And they're tagging, they tagged some gators last year. And they're always around, lurking, waiting for an opportunity. Spoonbills are always wonderful when you get them coming in. You never know how many you're going to see. Here's a fish that got impaled by a great blue heron. Here's a tricolor taken off. And another, this is a juvenile eagle in a tree. A pair of bluebirds. Yellow-rumped warbler. So you go on these little adventures to try to get some of these smaller birds in different parts of the park. And, you never know what you're going to find. Some days you get nothing. Some days you hear them, but you can't see them. I like it when they're on these smaller branches. Bluebird eating berries. And here one got what it really, really likes to get, a spider. They love eating spiders. Very good at spotting them and getting them. And this bird, this has a headache. That bird is really hurting with a bad whiplash, case of whiplash. This one's like checking to see if it used deodorant. And these two are chumming around with each other. Egrets and spoonbills, for the most part, get along pretty well. I like to play with the water sometimes. And everybody loves these birds when they decide to visit us for a while. A pair of ibis walking along the oyster beds looking for food. Great egret in a tree. And then I just call this the gathering. This is just a video clip to show you how many birds we had on one particular morning. And this was in the third week of November. So it was pretty cool. And let me tell you, everybody's there. There might have been only like one spoonbill though. I mean, at that point in time, we did have occasionally some spoonbills that hung around into December. But I don't know if I picked up on it in here or not. There might have been one at the most, maybe nothing this particular day, but you usually get a straggler anyway. Now in that direction I'm panning to the left where all those trees branches were, another say 20 yards from there the water ends. And here a wood stork gets a fish. He's kind of walking around with it, which could be a mistake. Somebody could try to steal it from him, and believe me, there are birds that will steal it from a wood stork. And this is another one of those larger fish. So I didn't really know if I was going to want to hold the camera long enough to get him eating it, but pay close attention because it's going to go down right now. There it goes. And here we have an ibis taking a bath. And then we have a bunch of them kind of walking back and forth feeding, eating little fish, kind of like on a march. I don't know if you noticed the wood stork, trying to get somebody away from it. So it can be pretty populated in a small area, and this is at one particular end of the pond. And like I said, this is where it narrows down, and when they have the water level low, you might have a big, artificial island. Here we have white pelicans flying. They're eventually going to go to Pelican Island, I guess we should call it. And here's a grouping of them out there, along with some cormorants, just sitting on that island. Unfortunately, there are days where they sit on that island, and this is really significantly far away, and you're hoping that they're going to peel off and move. You get to see this one taken off, and it'll kind of come across the frame here, and then go to the other side eventually. Cormorant taken off. Tricolor. Great blue heron inspecting himself. A couple ducks wondering if that alligator has any interest in them or not. Catching a kingfisher in flight, that's not easy. And here's some more small bird pictures. I like looking for the small birds. That's where the 800 comes in handy, or 600 with a TC on it, or going into DX mode, because you can't get too close to them, you scare them off, and they don't really film the frame well if you have like a 400 millimeter lens. Ring-billed gull, followed by a great blue with a fish, and we have another appearance from an eagle. And here we have what looks like a one-legged ibis. This is a juvenile. A lot of birds like to stand in the water with the one leg because they think it makes it less obvious that that is a bird that a fish sees. This is a very proud eagle sitting in that tree. This great egret is just relaxing against the bank of the shore. And here's the eagle heading downward with a branch it broke off to bring to the nest. A couple shorebirds. Feet taste good. Talk about having your foot in your mouth. And here's an image of brown pelicans trying to mingle in with the white pelicans. And the white pelicans, you would think they're relatives and they want to be friendly, but eventually the brown pelicans realize they're not welcome, and they take off and they go somewhere on their own. This wood stork is near the island, which looks like a pile of muck at that point in time. And I showed this image on my show earlier of the dipping of the fish. A cormorant landing a fish. Here's a few action shots of a larger fish that I just caught by accident. And here it couldn't hang on to it, and the fish did get away, although it is injured. This ibis is where the water kind of ends at the end, and you hit a bunch of rocks, and they like to hang out in there. And this is, another gathering. You can see one spoonbill in that image. I like the early morning light. I like the backlit photos. I always try to get those. And a group of pelicans with some cormorants on the island. And here's a good action shot with a much larger fish. Couple fishermen out at the north end of the beach area in the fog early morning. Great egret walking around with a fish. I like the pinkish tone in the water. I like the head poses of these fish. These birds, with one of them having a fish. And I call these guys the Three Stooges. They're trying to see how many snowies can stand on a branch without breaking it. Right close to the shore, great egret with a fish. And that doesn't take long for that to go down. A male merganser And here's the male waiting for the female as she goes down in the water briefly. These are green-winged teals, a group of them. Another merganser shot. Very early morning, not much sun at that point in time. Juvenile ibis with one leg up. And a snowy egret with the attitude starting to occur with that nice hairdo. Brown pelican taking a bath. And this is a juvenile common gallinoo. I thought it was a gallinoo, but I never saw a juvie before. And there's the osprey coming in. And here's a video of a gator with a group of turtles on a log. And you can imagine that the first turtle in line is thinking, this ain't looking good for me. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Telling the other guys, save yourselves. I'll sacrifice myself. You guys jump in the water and get away. But it was quite humorous. And I was just waiting for something to happen. And we stayed there for a while, Bob and I, and my friend Bob from Bob Our Photos, but nothing did happen. And another one-legged ibis, this one being an adult. We got a few more short video clips, and there's a yawn for you. And then we'll be done with this video. Hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, they're not the only birds that do that one leg trick. I think it's just so that the fish don't assume, they think of it more of a stick. If they see two legs in there, they know it's a bird. And here's our friend the otter, who's munching on a fish, or what's left of one. It was great to see an otter. That's my first time I've seen one in the wild. And here's just another very short clip of it. It had a fish and it walked over near the bank and then decided to swim off and disappear. And the last video we have is you're going to watch the osprey basically rip this fish apart. So if you don't have the stomach for it, you might want to skip to the end. But I mean, this is nature, and the ospreys many times they go for the head first. I mean, they'll pluck the eyes out. They'll try to eat the gills. I think he had one of the gills in its mouth there, and it dropped. And it's surprisingly how often the food item in their beak falls out. But obviously that fish, you know, even if they drop half of it, they'll have enough in their belly for a little while anyway. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. It kind of catches you up with what I've been up to since August till very early in January. I do have other pictures to share down the road, but I thought I was long overdue putting out something nature related, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed already, that would be a nice thing to do. It doesn't cost you anything, and I would appreciate it. So, as I say, enjoy life, capture some of it, and no matter what gear you own, what gear you use, it doesn't matter. What works for you works for you. Just get out there and use it and have a good time. So, take care until next time.